Okay, so if you're just done with the endless swiping, the ghosting, the whole modern dating scene, then this one's for you. We're going to break down this really fascinating, kind of counterintuitive strategy called the spike method. And yeah, it's all about forgetting the idea of trying to appeal to everyone. Ugh, does that one hit a little too close to home? You're definitely not alone. It just perfectly nails that frustration so many of us feel, right? You swipe, you match, you get a good chat going, and then, poof, nothing. It's a cycle that can honestly feel pretty demoralizing.
You know, it's no wonder our source material calls it a dystopian simulation. It feels like that sometimes, doesn't it? Everybody's putting on the same, happy, perfect face, trying to sell this most appealing, normal version of themselves. But you have to wonder, in that process, are we accidentally erasing the very things that actually make us interesting?
Well, this pressure to just fit in, to be normal, it leads us right into this very common pitfall. To survive this so-called dystopia, a lot of us end up falling into what's known as the generic extrovert trap.
Oh, you've heard all the advice, I'm sure. Just be more outgoing. Post pictures of you hiking. Make sure you're laughing with friends in every photo. Write a bio about how much you love traveling and trying new food. The whole idea is to cast the widest net possible. But what actually happens when you do that? So here it is, the two paths laid out side by side. On the left, you've got the generic trap. You try to appeal to everyone with a super vague, cliché bio, and you just get lost. You become totally invisible. But on the right, you've got this other way. You focus your appeal. You aim for an intense connection with the right people, the ones who are actually a great match for you. And that powerful alternative, that whole strategy for actually standing out from the crowd, well, that's what we're calling the spike method. And it's basically about doing the exact opposite of everything we've been told. So, to put it simply, a spike is that one unique, specific, maybe even a little quirky interest that you decide to highlight on purpose. It's the opposite of hiding your passions to seem normal. No, you lead with them. You put them front and center to attract someone who actually gets the real you.
Now, let's be really clear about something. This isn't just about being weird for the sake of being weird. It's about being deeply, genuinely authentic. Your spike has to be something you're truly passionate about. The whole goal is to be memorable, and maybe even more important, it works like this amazing filter. It kind of pushes away people who wouldn't be a good fit anyway, and it acts like a magnet for the ones who find your specific brand of interesting, well, really, really interesting.
Okay. So this all sounds great in theory, but what does a spike actually look like in practice? Let's dive into some fantastic, real-world examples that our source material pointed out.
All right, so picture this. You're setting up your profile. You fight that urge to just write, I'm an extrovert who loves new adventures. Instead, you decide you're going to get specific. You're going to show, not just tell. For instance, maybe you have a wild passion for pressure washing. Yes, you heard me, pressure washing. That weirdly satisfying thing where you just blast all the grime off a deck. Instead of fighting that nerdy little hobby, you make it a core part of your profile. It's unique, it's visual, and I guarantee you, it is a conversation starter.
Or maybe your thing is knowing a ridiculous amount about frogs. Did you know the glass frog literally has translucent skin so you can see its organs? I mean, come on, that is your spike. It's totally memorable, it shows you have a curious mind, and it immediately pulls you out of the sea of 1,000 other profiles, all talking about how much they love The Office.
So, all of this really brings us to the most important question of all. How do you find and how do you use your own spike?
It's really just a simple three-step process. First, you've got to identify it. What's that thing you get totally lost in? What could you talk about for hours? It could be anything, from vintage synthesizers to competitive cheese rolling. Seriously. Second, amplify it. How can you show this off in your photos or mention it in your bio in a way that's fun and engaging? And third, just let it do the work. Let that spike attract the people who are fascinated, not freaked out by what you love.
At the end of the day, the spike method is a huge shift in your mindset. You stop playing this impossible, exhausting game of trying to be universally liked by everyone, and instead you start playing the game of being absolutely unforgettable to the right person.
So I'll just leave you with this question to chew on. In this world that's just full of generic extroverts, what's that one authentic, unique, totally memorable thing that makes you, you? What's your spike?